Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crowdsourced challenge where today we've got some buying to do. You might notice we got 65,000 euros all of a sudden. Don't worry, I haven't cheated. I was going to cheat in money for 3 straw bales today. That's no longer necessary. I fixed the mixer in yesterday's stream. But today we need to buy 2 items, just so that I know how much money we do have to play with. First item is going to be corn header. And the second item, you know what it's going to be now, is going to be, is it in cultivators? It is. Is the Sapphire G601, which only requires 140 horsepower, so I'm going to massively overdrive it, but who cares? We've got a 6-meter cultivator, we've got a corn seeder, we've got a corn header. Whoa. I see no reason not to do corn. We've got 13 grand in the bank. So what the plan is now, basically, is Field 19's going into corn because the pigs need it. It was going to go into wheat. That was kind of the backup plan, was to put it into wheat. But with the fact that we now have cultivator, and if you're wondering where all the money came from, it came from the bales. I filled up the shed. I'll show you when we're up there. I filled up, to my satisfaction at least, the shed that I'm keeping the bales in, and yeah, that left us with about 50 grand's worth of hay still in the field, apparently. The remainder of the money came from me finishing the contract and field one. So, for the first time in quite a while, I have managed to sync up the streams and the videos, so we are actually kind of going together. I'll probably desync it through the course of this video, and tomorrow's video, which I'll be recording straight afterwards, but for now we're synchronized. We've got everything working in perfect, some sort of organizational harmony. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do part of this manually, but I will be handing over to Courseplay to do the majority of this field. Just because Courseplay Courseplay can work in the background and I can do other jobs, because I'm actually expecting field 15 to grow in the meantime. What I need to do is, by the way, props to the people who spotted that in yesterday's video, when I tried to turn plant growth off, I turned it up to max. I turned it up to fast. So I wanted no growth, but I accidentally selected, yes, all of the growth, which decidedly wasn't what I wanted. I'm going to, as is somewhat tradition now, split this field in 2. And we'll do it in kind of 2 halves. I know that when unleashing Courseplay on, it's going to redo bits of the field, but I don't particularly mind that. I'll be kind of curious in which direction Courseplay decides it wants to do this field, to be quite honest. But we will be unleashing Courseplay, and we will also... This runs like a dream. I'm really glad that I got this cultivator. Not too sure if I like the all-black colour scheme it has, but it does work well. I cannot fault the looks, or the function, or the price, which is why I've got it. Yeah, it's kind of the cultivator that I was looking for in an ideal world. It is only 6 meters though, so it is, you know, gonna take a while to work through this field. Oh, that's not a big deal. I think the corn header actually is 6 meters as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, so this is kind of a preview of how badly the corn header is going to do in this field. That's it's not looking all that promising, is it? The seeder is also I've gone from like, oh, 9 meters is clearly the best, to, oh yes, 6 meters everything. Yeah, this field's going to take a little while to do. But that's kind of fine. because I don't know why it's fine, but it is because I said so, an okay thing to say. It's going to be fine because I said it's going to be fine. No, it's going to be fine because, well, basically, I am expecting Field 15 to grow basically any minute now, really. And Field 15 is going to be... I need to select grass. Field 15 is going to be silage next time round. We'll make it in the bunker of the cows. Which is what, if you remember, was it last week? Fairly recently, at least. I sold off all the silage that was in the bunker. Because I said, oh hey, it doesn't really matter that I'm doing this because I'm going to be making an absolute butt ton when I next harvest Field 15, which is going to be very soon. The joy of grass is that it does grow, and this is why I'm more willing to swap Fields 15 and 19. It does grow at a much faster rate than crops, and you don't particularly have to put much effort into getting grass to grow. So, just unleash it. Like, I'm not gonna fertilize Field 15 a second time. I toyed with that idea, but really with how much grass you get out of a field, especially Field 15, I don't see the point in making sure the yield is maximized when I'm just gonna ferment it into silage and there's still gonna be way too much, more than I'll probably ever need on this map. One thing that I could do, and I'm not going to, because I need to be mindful that I will need to buy more seeds, I will need to buy more fertilizer, and I will need to kind of bankroll fuel and repairs around the map. One thing I could do is buy the BGA right now. I'm not going to. I'm going to hold off until we get a bit more money together, possibly from milk sales, which I'm not going to sell milk until I need more money again. Milk sales are going to be... I think milk sales are possibly going to be what props up this farm. I said before it was going to be, you know, bale sales. I think it's probably actually going to be milk, because if I leave it a little while, I'll get a ton of milk, which I can then sell for insane amounts of money, because milk is, like, really worthwhile. Now, I will say as well, the first forage wagon of grass off Field 15, when we get that done, is going to go straight to the cows, because they need grass. Unlike the sheep, cows don't count hay as being grass, even though it's made from grass. Cows need to be given actual grass for some reason, even though they're in a meadow. That's something that has always just kind of baffled me with farm sim, is like, the animals are in meadows, why do you need to give them grass? Giving them hay I can understand, giving them extractions I can understand, giving them like grains and stuff I can understand. Giving them grass when they're stood in a grass field most of the time? Okay. I mean, it's definitely a thing that you could do with animals, but when for 90% of the time they're literally surrounded by grass they could just eat, I struggle to understand the logic there. As the crows explode out of the ground again, I'm cultivating up crows again, guys. We've gone from spider crow to worm crow. What? Seriously, the crows in this game are the weirdest blooming things. Not least because they can magically climb walls somehow. But they also explode out of the... There goes more. They also explode out of the ground. As I was saying, they explode out of the ground. They did it just to demonstrate. That's really convenient. I mean, it's nice that it's a thing in the game now that the birds appear. It's kind of a bit more immersion, I guess, is the correct word. in the game, but it is a bit silly that they randomly explode out of the ground. Kind of wish that wasn't a thing. I also kind of wish that they'd follow cedars and stuff. Just like, 'cause they do in real life. Like, if you're down, or if you're anywhere near where seagulls are, you'll see them quite often following cedars. And crows will do the same. And they do follow cultivators and plows as well, because with turning over the sod like they do, and disturbing the sod, they tend to dig up quite a few worms. And bring quite a few worms up to the surface, and those crows, they do like their worms. So it makes sense that they're on the field right now. That I'm not going to complain about, because in real life, if you're cultivating, or if you're even, you know, going past a field that's being cultivated, you're gonna see crows, because they're looking for worms. That guy over there is a bit confused by what constitutes cultivated. He's just landed in slurry. If you remember, this field has been covered in slurry already. But, little mini announcements, I guess. You know, a third of the way through the video, and I should have made them at the start, because I forgot to. Mini announcement kind of thing, jiggy. I've rejigged memberships. I think that's what they're called now. Formerly sponsorships. I don't know if you can join through videos yet or at all, or if it's just through streams, but if you do join and it's via YouTube Gaming, you can do that. You can now get your name into an end screen that I'll be making after recording these two videos. So something that isn't even created. The same goes if you do the Patreon thingy for like $5 or more a month, because that's roughly what YouTube is. So you pay the same amount, you get the same benefits. It's just a nice thing to do, I guess. Also, on YouTube only for members, loyalty badges are now a thing. I actually went to the trouble of getting loyalty badges made, or making them myself, the other night, and I'm quite happy with them. None of you have seen them because we don't have very many members on the channel, unfortunately, but just know that loyalty badges are a thing. And you get pretty little logos beside your name in chat for sure, and I think also if you comment on videos. If you guys search out one of Fahi's comments, there should be a little... what level's he at? A little blue looking RainbowDave icon beside him. His comments now. Because he is a 1-year member of the channel. I don't know if he even knows that. He's been a member for, I think it's 13 months now. And Nathan TMF, if he's around, will have a bronze level membership. And the levels are literally just how long you've been a member for. Levels are black for brand new, because you haven't earned anything yet. Other than my thanks and a cool little logo beside your name in chat. And your name in the end screen of videos. What are levels? Black, gold, silver... No, black, bronze, silver, gold. And then I tried to do diamond, but it just ended up as light blue, so I'm gonna call that one the sky. And after 2 years, which I might get soon, you earn the rainbow badge, which is the RainbowDave Gaming logo with an extra rainbow behind it, which looks quite hilarious, actually. It looks ridiculous, but it kind of works, I guess. Yeah, in the description, by the way, if you want to order the Anderson DLC, there's a link in the description. I know that it's quite hotly anticipated, more than I initially expected, but as I've been saying, the more I think about the equipment in it, the more it makes sense that it is being a bit hotly anticipated, because it's new and interesting things to do, even with, especially with poplars, which I feel like people want to do poplars, but at the same time they don't want to deal with how long it takes to harvest poplars. So that DLC might hopefully change things a small bit. Might move people into doing a bit more poplars, and I will plan and aim to do poplars on this map as well. I know that everybody and their dog has been doing videos lately and streams over the last week or so. Oh, I'm preparing for the DLC. I don't have a field that I'm willing to do that on yet. I actually want to do it in like field. I'd like to do it in like field 3 or 4, or 2 or 4, maybe field 1 if. How much is field 2 or 4? Out of curiosity, field 2 is 113, 134. Okay, so that's vastly more expensive than I can afford. I could pull out a very sizable loan and get one of those 2 fields. But I'd then also have to put out extra loan to... This is a thing that I could do for sure, is put out loans, get the field, get the poplar planter rented, and pop some poplars down, because I do have... Here's my issue. I've got weeds on, but withering off. And my issue would be, I get the feeling weeds would be a major issue on that field. You can't herbicide if there are weeds down. Or if the crop's fully grown, I should say. For some reason, well, I guess the logic is, well, if it's a grain or something, you're not going to want to throw herbicide on it just before you harvest it, because that's going to contaminate it. But yeah, but if the crop's ready to harvest, you literally cannot throw herbicide down or deal with the weeds. Which, by the way, is why I've been just flat rejecting any rules that are supposed to go into the wheel that are, oh hey, yeah, you can't harvest if there are weeds. There are points where that's impossible. Like, I do my best to deal with weeds as quickly as I can. I know field 18, I did leave them there for a little bit, but they have now been dealt with via course play. And I'm really now thinking that this might be better if I just kind of finish this manually, because we've only been going 15 minutes, and already we've got quite a bit of this field actually cultivated. It probably helps this cultivator goes at a fair clip as well. Like, we're cultivating at probably about 10 miles an hour. Which, you know, in terms of the grand, big, huge world out there, isn't very quick, but in terms of, like, ripping through soil, that is rather speedy. The plan for tomorrow's video, by the way, is I don't have one just yet. Which is always wonderful when I say, oh yeah, I'm gonna record tomorrow's video immediately after this one. I have no plan. I'll figure something out to do. It won't be another random odd jobs episode, because I did one just yesterday when I broke the feed mixer. But yeah, tomorrow's episode is gonna have a wheel spin, so that might decide what we do. There are a few rules that are just... I'm not trying to be mean, but I have seen a few rules being suggested that are, get 1,000 of this. And it's just like, well, no, that's literally just you trying to make this impossible for me. That's not a rule that I'm ever going to accept. There was another suggestion I saw that was 75 chickens. And that's not going at the wheel for the simple reason that there's already 75 chickens on the farm. We have 29, 31, 64, 74 out of 8 is 82 chickens. So a rule of minimum 75 Even if you exclude the roosters, yeah, that rule would be kind of moot. It would be pointless. Plus, there is a rule in the wheel already that is 100 chickens, which is a tiny bit more of a challenge. One thing I do need to do is, how much... 93 litres. How much is a box of eggs? How many litres? I've heard people saying it's like 1,000. I'm gonna guess, though, that it's more likely 100. And I do need to deal... I need to... I do need to get a vehicle to deal with that, and I'm thinking of getting... do I have them installed? This is Dave dealing with things that he probably should deal with off camera while recording a video. No, it's over here. Cars. Nope, MISC. Nope. Clearly I do not have them installed then. I'm thinking of getting one of the UTVs, which I don't have activated at the moment, to deal with the eggs. Probably the Gator. Because I do like the John Deere, I do like the Gator. I know that, I think, is the Gator the better one? I remember that one of them is just vastly superior to the other, but I want the Gator, so I don't really care if the Retriever is the better UTV. I want the Gator, and I'm going to get the Gator. Oh, something that Landy noticed yesterday and pointed out to me, and by the time this goes out, noticed on Friday and pointed out to me, is that in the Giants testing list there is a Horse pack. I don't know if that's the free Horse quote-unquote DLC, but I would be willing to guess it is. Horse is one of these weird exceptions that I don't think it's in the game at the moment. Is it in the game? Oh, Horse is in the game. Yeah, Horse is a weird one, in that even if it wasn't in the game, Giants do have a license to use them, so it would be allowed on console, because they signed an exclusive agreement with them, was it last year? And that made Cattle and Crops scramble a bit, because they had a load of horse equipment they had to remove. Which was, in my eyes, quite funny. In other channel upkeep news, if you were in the stream yesterday you'll know this already, but most of you weren't. The stream yesterday was very quiet. The blacklist for words not allowed that I have been keeping and is active constantly on YouTube, which is great. The word Fortnite, as in the game Fortnite, has been added to it because I care for that game so little I don't even want to see it. And luckily when it comes to words that I don't want to see, I can just add them to the blacklist. Because I'm kind of done with people asking, are you going to play Fortnite? Because, no, I'm not. And asking me is only going to make me want to not play it more. It's not a game of any interest in. The ads are obnoxious. And yeah, the community is... I don't want to get into it too much, but the community is just something I don't want to be part of. The Fortnite community. Because it just seems like drama keeps following it around somehow. It keeps being created. But this is going actually way better than I'd expected. I did not expect to nearly have half the field done in half an hour. Because that's effectively what we're doing here, is this is half the field. Roughly. It might be slightly more, it might be slightly less, but I did not expect to be anywhere near this far into this segment of the field in just, 25 minutes or less. So I'm pleasantly surprised, to say the least. It's one of these times where it's just gone, actually, yeah, this actually works better than I'd expected. Usually I expect something... Yeah, usually I expect something to work and it doesn't. This is one of those times where it works so well that I'm kind of surprised that it's working so well. I'm wondering where it's all going to go wrong. I'm waiting for this to just like fall off the 3-point and explode or something. That would not in the least surprise me, actually, if it were to do that. We are doing nice, vaguely straight passes. I mean, as good as I can get. And oh yeah, another thing that was pointed out to me in yesterday's video that I genuinely didn't know somehow. I didn't need to go to the lake to get free water because all of the water triggers on the map are free water. Somehow I didn't know this. So thank you to everybody who pointed out that the water everywhere is free. On the map. I genuinely had no idea. So I want to thank you guys for that. I want to thank the people that pointed out and called me a fool, and correctly so. Although I think the word used by at least one was plonker, which is still, I would agree, for accidentally setting growth to all of it instead of none of it. None of it being a small town in Alaska. I think it's in Alaska. It might be in the Yukon. In Canada. Might also be in Greenland or Iceland. I'm not sure where none of it is, but it's a place. Or Nunavut, or however you want to pronounce it. We're doing... Yeah, I'm really quite surprised that this is going as well as it is. Also in news that may genuinely be news. Yesterday in the stream, Oxygen David made a little statement. And he said, well, he said basically that Oakfield's coming next, which we already knew. Also coming to FS19 is probably another crowd pleaser in the form of Sandy Bay. Sandy Bay will be making a return, if only in name, from what I understand from... yeah, I don't think he's going to do a full convert of Sandy Bay. It might be a completely new map just called Sandy Bay. You can never rule that out. But also coming, much to my appeasement, and possibly to shut me and others up, is a little Irish ditty he calls Shamrock Valley. And I would not be in any way surprised if he's doing it just to shut me up. Because every time he appears I mention it and say, really, really, really would be nice if Shamrock Valley came forward. Yeah, that is good news all around, really. More maps. And he said there's something else he's working on that he's excited about. So, Oxygen David has big plans, seemingly, but he is taking a short break from mapping. He's taking a week's holiday, which he deserves. He's put a lot of work into this and got Oakfield nearly completely converted in probably about a week. Which is stupid in the best possible way. Stupid in the way that only Oxy can be when he converts something in about a week that other mappers would be like, oh yeah, I'm working on it, I've got like 10% of the map converted. Oxy just comes along like, yeah, I got the map into 19. How long did it take you? About 2 hours. Excuse me? Other mappers walk along, oh, I'm starting a new map, I've been on it for 3 months and I'm about 10% of the way there now. Oxy just walks along, oh yeah, I started a new map 3 months ago as well. What's it called? Marwell Manor Farm. But that's out already. Yeah. Oxy is a lunatic in the best possible way. He just... I swear he's a magician when it comes to map making. In much the same way as Shy Wizard is a magician when it comes to getting random stuff to just work. And the likes of Wopster and Zentro are magicians when it comes to scripts. It just happens. They just click their fingers and the thing happens. But that is going to do it for today as I finish my little sidebar on how people are magicians when they make mods. Because I can't understand how they do it so quickly. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, stay safe and goodbye.